It's all happening at the worst possible time. We thought things were getting better. We thought 2022 would be normal. But the way things are going, I'm not so sure. This feels a lot more like 2020. The same restrictions, the same masks, the same shortages. It is easy to feel dispirited. It's easy to surrender to the pandemic. And there's a clinical term for that. It's called pandemic fatigue. I'm sure you've all felt it at some point. 21 months of wearing masks. 1 year of lockdowns, countless hours spent washing your hands or sanitizing your workplace. All of this takes a huge toll on you. Maybe you haven't, some of you at least, have not seen your family since last year. Maybe you haven't taken a holiday or attended a party, and this can directly affect your mental health. I'll show you some numbers. During the pandemic, cases of depression have increased 27.6% and cases of anxiety have gone up by 25.6%. What I'm trying to say is this. The last 2 years have been draining, both emotionally and physically. And you may feel like, what's the point of all of this? Because the goalposts keep shifting. You take 2 vaccine shots, suddenly you need a booster. You reach herd immunity, suddenly a new variant emerges. Pandemic fatigue can make you give up. And I'm here to warn you against that. Now is precisely not the time to surrender. Now is the time to be more vigilant, to deal the final blow to this pandemic. How do you do that? By dusting out the old playbook. The 2020 guide on how to survive a pandemic. If you think this year was bad, just think back to 2020. We had no vaccines then. We had no medicines, no idea how to contain the infection. And yet we survived. We survived through restraint and discipline. Frankly, that was missing this year, 2021. Vaccines made us complacent. People were back in pubs. They started traveling again. Some even abandoned their masks. What made us so confident? Vaccines. They were supposed to be a shield, you see. We treated them as an invisibility cloak. And this is where governments played a big role. Their messaging was not effective enough. Vaccines were supposed to reduce hospitalization. They were supposed to save lives. Preventing COVID-19 was never the objective. And yet vaccinated people gave themselves the license to live large. They could attend parties, they could travel abroad, and we know what happened next. The West hoarded so many vaccines that the virus mutated elsewhere. Enter Omicron. Now governments are panicking and they're advising boosters. They're bringing back lockdowns, but honestly, it's late. We were complacent once and it cost us. We cannot afford to make the same mistake in 2022. You may be vaccinated, you may have got a booster even. But that is not a license to stop caring. Until everyone is safe, nobody is safe. Remember that line. I know it's easier said than done. All the working from home, all the remote classes, it must seem like an endless loop. But remember, only you can end this loop. Not politicians, not scientists, only you. If the public gives up, if we give up, then all hope is lost. We'll be stuck in the cycle of boosters, RT-PCR tests, night curfews, mask mandates. So my message is, don't give up. Losing 3 years to a pandemic is tough. Trust me, I know. All of us had things charted out. 2020, year of the pandemic. 2021, year of the recovery, and 2022, a fresh start. Maybe you were looking to change jobs or study a new course or maybe change cities. Whatever the plan was, Omicron may have spoilt it. So what options do you have? A, you can give up and prolong this pandemic, or B, you can keep up the good fight. So I would say keep fighting, because you may be done with the pandemic, but the pandemic is not done with you. And if you want some inspiration, just look at our doctors and nurses. They've been working through all of this. Through lockdowns, through vaccinations, through variants. They've been turning up and working every single day. We owe it to these frontline workers to keep our end of the bargain. So this new year, don't be complacent. Don't tell yourself this is just a mild infection, because we do not know for sure yet. We certainly hope it is a mild infection. In the meantime, don't forget your 2020 playbook. I'm not asking you to shut yourself at home. I'm asking you to be vigilant. Keep your mask on at all times. If you haven't got a vaccine, book your appointment right now and maintain some semblance of social distancing. If all of us do it, we can beat the pandemic in 2022. If not, we could be having the same conversation in December next year. We certainly hope not. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.